It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hey, buddy, welcome back to an exciting episode of Citizen Frame as we continue Silence of the Lambs, or we like to call it the Hannibal Library retrospective. Yep, we're now talking Silence of the Lambs. This is based on the 1988 horror thriller novel, written by Thomas Harris. It is the second book in the Hannibal Lecter series. Now, what he wanted to do in this one, which I kind of applaud, is we already told the story of one profiler, which was in Manhunter. Now we're talking about a female up-and-coming profiler. The last one was more, retired, took enough shit.
Tormented soul.
Had enough. Tormented soul. Now we got the young up-and-coming. So, yeah, JodieFoster, perfect choice. Now, it was Michelle Pfeiffer originally. I think she turned it down. She would have been good, too. I like Michelle Pfeiffer.
No, apparently, from what I read, she demanded too much, and they basically didn't have the budget to pay her.
No, that could be true, too. I'm not sure. But she was, they're both pretty much A-listers at that time. But they have Jonathan Demme on board. And Jonathan Demme is a comedic director. But he's got one thing going for him. That's why he fits this directing role. He works well with women. Demme is known for his comedies with Something Wild and Married the Mob. Something Wild introduced us pretty much to Melanie Griffith. Married the Mob, we already know her, Michelle Pfeiffer. And they also did a movie called Swing Shift, which I like, with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn is the main lead. That's where actually Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell met. And the love blossomed for years.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's why Jonathan Demme wanted to take this role, because he wanted to take it because a lot of his films are women-powered based. So, women-empowered based. So, he's a perfect choice for, quite frankly, a film it's pretty much feminist to the core.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It gets a little too much, to be honest with you. Okay, we get it. But that's where Jonathan Demme took over from the Michael Mann and so forth. Again, we mentioned the last podcast, this was a different studio. This was Orion. Orion made great films, but they didn't make a lot of them, and they went bankrupt. But every film they did was gold. They won Oscars and everything. They did Dance with Wolves. They did this film. They did RoboCop. List keeps going. But unfortunately, they did a lot of really clever films that just didn't do well, and they got lost in the mix. There's a rebirth for them now, but
yeah,
at the time, this was Orion property.
Yeah, just going back to what you were saying there about it being more of a feminist film, I would say it's more a film about sexism, and more about, the sexism and the treatment of Clarice Starling than actual feminism. But yeah, I suppose both make sense.
Yeah, they both go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But Silence of the Lambs, a lot of controversy. Is it a thriller? Is it horror? It is a horror thriller. That's fact. That's the way it was written as. Thomas Harris backs that up. The Academy got the Oscars, the first horror film to get Best Picture. But it's not. And
it's not. No, The Exorcist won Best Picture.
No, it didn't.
You sure?
So let me finish, please. Yes, let me finish. I told you not to interrupt me, and you still do it. Now you're going to look like an ass clown. Way to go, Trevor.
Don't interrupt me. I'm being scolded by the teacher.
Let me shut up. Let me finish. Yeah, I can't believe you're still fucking arguing with me, you fucker. Anyways, welcome back to Silence of the Lambs. So, Sinners won last year, and Best Actor, and then we got Weapons, won Best Supporting Actor. But horror was always the redheaded stepchild. We've said that many a times on this podcast. But there are a few winners that were horror, and I got the list. We got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1931. Didn't know this one. It's kind of cool. It won Best Actor, Frederick March. And it got nominated for Best Screenplay and Best Cinematography. Phantom of the Opera, 1943. Won 2 Academy Awards for Best Color and Art Direction. Rosemary Baby won cinematography for Rosemary's Baby, and Ruth Gordon won Best Supporting Actress. That was that was a breakthrough. And then it was The Exorcist, who did not win Best Picture. Do you know that, right?
Yeah, it was nominated at least. I mean, I don't really pay much attention to the Oscars.
No, I didn't say that in the beginning. I said who won the Oscar. You jumped in and said Exorcist won.
I asked if it won. So
The Exorcist is the first horror film to be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
It did win. It did win Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Sound.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Silence of the Lambs 1991 where all 5 categories were won. I think it's Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Actress.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's nice. That's always nice. So anyone who doesn't think Silence of the Lambs is a horror film, go fuck yourselves.
Although I would argue that Anthony Hopkins win, it should have been for my supporting actor because he's only in it for 15 minutes here.
I agree.
Yeah.
100% I agree with that. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. He beat James Caan for Misery, which he shouldn't have. And I guys, I could be wrong, and Kathy Bates got Best Supporting Actress, not Best Actress.
Oh, hold on a minute. Misery was the year before.
Oh, was it the year before?
Yeah. That was.
Are you sure?
Kathy Bates won the Oscar, I believe.
Well, she won it, but was it supporting or for?
No, in a lead role. In a lead role.
Yeah, it would have to be lead role, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, there you go. There's another. Well, that's kind of. No, that's more thriller. I wouldn't say that's horror.
I think, I mean, I was thinking about this with the Silence of the Lambs, and I suppose that the same applies for Misery. But for me, both are more thrillers than horror. I mean, there's obviously no supernatural elements with actually either of them. But so they're more thrillers to me, but especially Silence of the Lambs because it's
no. Silence of the Lambs is Silence of the Lambs is horror. Period.
It certainly has horror elements.
You got right there. It's a horror thriller. Period. All right. You've got a serial killer who skins their victims, and you got a man who skins a cop's face off, puts it on the top of his face, and escapes.
It's just
right there. Let me finish, please. Don't cut me off.
Yeah.
So once you do that, you put those in this film. It's a fantasy. It's elements of fantasy that makes it a horror film. Same thing with Jaws.
I disagree.
Once you make the shark fucking huge, and the shark is hunting everybody and blah blah blah, that's a fantasy element. It makes the film horror.
But it's not fantasy because stuff like this has happened in real life.
Oh my god! Give me one.
A gang, Cannibal, who is directly inspired parts of this movie, especially Buffalo Bill.
Ed Gein killed.
Cannibalism is as old as history itself.
Yeah, but Ed Gein killed one person. He was more of a he killed one.
He killed his mother and one other person.
And he killed, and then the undead. He buried them took them from the graves.
Grave robber and necrophile. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. This is completely gone to a fantasy element once that ending kicks in. Of course it is. It's a horror film. Period. Anyone thinks different, they're fucking idiots.
I disagree. Because although stuff like this is rare, if you actually look into some of the absolute weird shit that's happened with like depraved serial killers, even in the likes of Russia and stuff, you look at the Wests in Britain and stuff, Jack the Ripper, stuff like this tragically does happen.
Yeah. You're not understanding the difference between reality and fiction.
I am.
This is
inspired.
You're saying to me, and within 5 minutes, he beats the shit out of the guard, scalps his face, puts it on his face, and puts a mural of one of them as a moth in the jail cell, which, by the way, is the stupidest part of the film. That doesn't make it horror.
Oh, it makes it horror, but
thank you. That's it.
There are no supernatural elements here.
It doesn't have to have supernatural to be horror.
I know that. But what you're saying is that you said fantasy elements. There's no fantasy here.
It is horror. And when I say fantasy, it means you have to suspend your disbelief for that quick moment. That is, and that makes it horror.
It's
You don't
horror
get it.
thriller, but more of a thriller for me.
Oh, now you're saying it's horror. You
No, but
rat
it's more
bastard.
of a thriller, and it certainly has no supernatural elements whatsoever.
Again, stop with the supernatural. Supernatural doesn't mean horror. It doesn't have to have supernatural to be horror. You have to suspend your disbelief from reality to fantasy slightly for a moment. That makes it horror.
You have to do that with every
That's
film.
it.
Every fictional
But no,
film.
no, it's not. You're just wow. You're okay. You're trying. Let's move on.
Eh?
Fucking hate you. I hate life right now. And I say, I know I was gonna have a nice dinner tonight. I was gonna have a nice sweet dinner, but you fucking screwed up your laptop, and I had to fucking wait. And I had to have
boo-hoo.
I had a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is terrible.
What about that fucking shit you were doing with the noodle maker or something like that? You're not doing that. I'm just back from holiday
I
and I'm wrecked.
I gave up on that.
And I jumped on here early, so boo fucking who. It's not my fault if my laptop wasn't going right.
Yeah, your laptop's a piece of shit.
You talk shit.
And so is I'm gonna talk. I got Thomas Harris on speed dial.
Yeah, right.
He's gonna tell you to go fuck yourself.
Anyway, but we're talking about a film.
I can't wait till Hannibal. You're gonna think that's real too. That should be good.
Hannibal. I love Hannibal. I know a lot
Tom
of people
Harris
don't
said
like it.
he's embarrassed by that movie and embarrassed by the book. He was forced to write it.
No. He was forced to write Hannibal Rising, the final book.
No. He didn't write the fourth book.
He wrote them all.
He didn't write Hannibal Rising, did he?
Yes, he did. I've read them all. Yes.
Oh, aren't you cool? I read good.
No. I'm just saying. I've
You're a big show off.
I know he wrote it.
Big show off.
What? Because I read a book.
Oh, listen to you. Look at that. I read. I'm cool.
Not at all. You did ask. It is relevant.
All right. And we got JodieFoster as Clarice Starling, Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal. Fucking love him. Underrated fucking gem of an actor. Scott Glenn as Jack Crawford. Nice to see. He's had a massive career just playing a psychopath with kind of a likable tone. I kind of felt sorry for this guy. Ted Levine as James Buffalo Bill Gum. Anthony Hill, complete 180 to the original version we got in Manhunter, who plays Dr. Frederick Chilton. But Anthony Hill is a scene stealer in this film. You got Brooke Smith. It's nice to see, veteran actress who plays Catherine Martin. She's the daughter, sorry. Diane Baker is the mother of, she plays Ruth.
Senator Martin.
Yeah. So there you go. It's, again, going back to profile. The opening scene was enough. We get it. Okay. There's a scene where we're introduced to Starling and she's working out and running around. All these guys are stopping to look at her, and all the fucking FBI cops are like 12 feet tall, and they don't understand why she's here with just looks. They don't say anything, but just looks. Okay, we get it. This is a feminist take. This happens throughout the entire film, and it's damaging. I'm going to say that now. It's when you see this again, it's like, okay, we get it. Okay, she's a woman. We don't need it thrown down our throats. We're getting this now in the new movement we have going on in cinema. We get it. Less is more. We're not stupid. We understand she's a fish out of water here, but it's thrown down our throats in every other scene in this film.
I mean, it is any scene that she's in it with any other male FBI, basically agents. It is an element, and it goes even further actually in the next film with Paul Krendler. The character has a very small role in this one. But here's the thing for me. I didn't mind that because, that sort of thing would have happened, whatever. But with me, I have never been that invested in the actual character of Clarice Starling, with the whole backstory about finding the lamb and her father dying and all that there. I just have never really found the character that interesting. Unlike the likes of Lecter or even Buffalo Bill or even before, in the film before with the Tooth Fairy and stuff. I've just never been that invested in the character. But what I would say, I think that the Julianne Moore version of the character in the next film is actually a lot more intriguing because it's more of a sort of, she's a fully rounded sort of woman instead of this young cadet.
Well, talk about that when we get to it. What's JodieFoster? I like Julianne Moore, but Hannibal gets no time for me. But we'll talk about that later. But the problem that you're saying is, though, the last one he had Graham. Was it Will Graham?
Yeah.
And he is retired now. He's got scars. He's been brutalized. Hannibal's attacked him. He's got a history there. So we're kind of intrigued with his story. With Starling, the difference is she doesn't have one yet.
Yeah.
So she's a rookie. So we're trying to find something with her. And this whole Silence of the Lambs, I will say this whole Silence of the Lambs and seeing her father, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was kind of, I really didn't care.
Again, it didn't intrigue me or invest me. Unlike previously with Will Graham, who is a tormented soul and, he's this complete empath. He's a much more interesting and complex character, I have to say.
I actually, even Clarice, and I think the problem is the character of Clarice is not in peril at all.
Apart from the end.
But Graham was.
Yeah.
And he's got to reface something, a demon he doesn't want to reface.
Yes.
So his arc and story I'm more invested in already. With her, I'm not. Yeah. Now the acting's brilliant. She's very good in this. I've always liked Jodie Foster as taxi driver. She gets a pass, period. The Accused, she was incredible in that film. But it's not her fault. I just think the character is kind of bland.
Yes, I agree.
And that's because she has no backstory. And the backstory we're given is like, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're shrugging your shoulders. So what? She found a lamb that she tried to save. Yeah, and I would say that in the TV series Hannibal, which is a sort of bastardized version of a couple of the novels, Red Dragon and Hannibal, the novel, we go much more deeper into the character of Will Graham. And, the whole relationship he has with Hannibal Lecter and all that sort of thing. A lot of it is sort of embellished and, not in the novel for the sake of, a TV series and, so many episodes. But at the same time, I've always found Will Graham a much more intriguing character.
I actually like the Crawford character, who was played by Dennis Farina in the last one, but this one's played by Scott Glenn. I like Scott Glenn a lot better on this one because I like Scott Glenn. That's probably just me, preferring the actor. But I liked him, and I liked how he treated Clarice. He manipulates her a little bit, but he always admits to when he does it. He always, this is the game.
Yeah.
She doesn't demean her, I think, in any way, like we get from the other big, huge FBI agents. And I would really have liked seeing more of him. Sadly, he's killed right away in the beginning of Hannibal, which we'll really get to when we talk about it.
No, he isn't.
But yeah, he is in the beginning scene.
Jack Crawford?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not.
Yeah, yes.
No, he is not.
Yes. We'll fight later.
Yeah, no. There's nothing to fight about because he's not.
Yeah, he is.
I know the lore.
I rewrote it. He dies dying it.
Right? Yeah, but he's not killed by Lecter.
No, he's killed by the terrorist attack in the beginning.
No, in the beginning of Hannibal, it is a drugs bust.
Yes, the drugs bust. He gets killed in it.
No, it's not him. It's not Jack Crawford. It is a different...
You're doubting yourself now, aren't you? You're doubting yourself, you piece of shit.
No, you fucking clown. It is a, what do you call it? It is a different supporting, leading...
Oh, it's a different Jack Crawford.
No, it's a different leading FBI superior. It's not Jack Crawford.
Yes, it is.
Right, well, you're just making a dick out of yourself now.
We'll dig a little deeper, okay?
It's not Jack Crawford.
Okay, then this is a horror film, so you got everything right today.
Whatever.
Sure. You've been really rude this entire podcast. I don't know what's your problem.
You're fucking really rude. Period, as you would say in America.
So, yeah, I do like, we meet our boy, Chilton, and he's so vile in this one, which in the other one, he was so nice. So it's kind of weird because I can see why they had a kind of Manhunter didn't exist in this world, because the characters we get back in this one are complete opposites of what we got,
Well,
besides Jack Crawford, he's pretty good. And I will have to say, I do like Anthony Hopkins. And I'm glad he had a resurgence here because he was dealing with personal issues and he never had a big comeback. This was obviously his comeback and he surged. He's done really well for himself. It's awesome. But I tell you what, I kind of wanted Brian Cox back.
Yeah. Regarding Chilton, in the books, Chilton has always been a bit of an asshole, and he's more of a very small role in Manhunter. But the thing is with Lecter, I mean, Chilton, and it also was narcissism as well, where he thinks he's an intellectual equal to Hannibal Lecter. But what it is with Lecter, apart from the crimes of convenience, like with the cops later on, and when he's escaping and stuff, Hannibal Lecter only kills and eats rude people. That's his MO. Where that's why he kills Miggs, essentially, or talks Miggs into killing himself, essentially, because he despises rudeness. So apart from crimes of convenience where he's escaping or whatever, he will only kill and eat rude people because he considers rude people like the lowest of the low, worse than pigs, and that's his whole thing.
All right. So when they first meet, it's a good conversation. I like it.
Yep.
It's very, simple. And she challenges him, pisses him off quite a bit. She here's a rookie. He knows it, but she calls him out. He tries to test her, but she calls him out, and then he gets a little more aggressive. And if someone did that to me, and I ate his liver with, that famous line with some fava beans and a nice Chianti, to let her know that I'm in charge. But she was actually in control there until she leaves, because he got offended by that when she calls him out, and she's going to leave, and then Miggs spooges on her.
Yep.
Which is a creepy fucking scene.
Well, he wore that when she's walking up to, and what Miggs says to her as she's walking up, to speak to Lecter. And then Lecter says it as well, and she says, actually, it's actually their next conversation. She says as well to him about how whenever Lecter be a bit more crass, she says that's actually something I would expect from Miggs. And then Lecter, because he now killed Miggs for all intents and purposes, he says,
"How did he kill Miggs?
What?
How did he kill Miggs? Swallowing his own tongue? How did he do that?"
I think it sounds preposterous, the line itself, but it appears. See, Hannibal Lecter he was this leading psychiatrist, super off the charts intellect, but he could basically talk people into doing things that they wouldn't normally do. I mean, we get more of this in the next film with the whole Mason Verger thing and how Mason Verger ended up the way he did. But I think it's more that he talks Miggs into biting his own tongue off, and then he dies of either bleeding or he chokes on it. But it's physically impossible. You can't actually swallow your own tongue unless it's like being cut off or whatever.
All right. But again, according to you, this isn't horror.
That's horror elements.
So, anyways, yeah, but once Miggs throws his spew at her,
yes,
he finally goes, "Okay, I'll give you some information because that shouldn't have happened to you."
It was a
he kind of respects her. He respects her, so he tells her, he calls himself Buffalo Bill, blah blah, and go see, what was the name?
Miss Moffat, which is basically
Hester Moffat. Hester Moffat.
He talks in codes essentially, and this leads her to find the head of Benjamin Raspail, who is.
And this,
go ahead.
This is where I thought this was relevant. The scene where she goes to the garage. She figures out the code. I'm not going to go through the codes and shit. And she goes to the garage and she sees all these, as I like to call it, Trevor's basement.
Oh yeah.
So it's got like naked mannequins, headless mannequins, a stuffed bird, and a face in the jar.
Yeah.
This is pretty much Trevor's garage.
Well, I mean, that's actually pretty toned down compared to my garage, but whatever,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of creepy. You back that up.
Yeah.
But
okay, mate.
Yeah, so we find her. You know what, Meg? That's not funny.
I laughed.
Miggs pretty much violated her.
I know we did.
And you make a joke about that.
It's not real. It's fiction.
Well, no, according to you, it's real. It's more real than it is.
Well, you just accused me of being TM gum.
No, because it's not horror. You said so. That's gone now. So you're saying that you're comparing me to Miggs, a man who violated this woman like that? Why would you do that? That's crossing the line.
Whoa. Wow.
That was fucking good. I planned that scene earlier because I knew you'd go there.
I'm fucking right. Miggs.
That was good. I love when
I knew you were going to accuse me of being GM gum, so I had to, there has to be backup.
Oh no, that's coming up.
Right.
But I do like when she goes back to see Hannibal, and they punish him because he technically manipulated Miggs to kill himself.
Yeah.
And they took away his pictures, and he's got to listen to fucking evangelist TV.
Televangelist. Yeah.
I'd kill myself.
You know who's actually, apart from Starling, the only one in the asylum and actually overall who is courteous to Hannibal Lecter, and he's the reason he doesn't go after him after he escapes, is Barney.
Yeah.
Barney's the only one who is polite to him. And in fact, in the next film, Barney discusses that. He always knew he was safe because he was civil. Not even so much polite, but he was civil to Hannibal Lecter. And in fact, that's why Lecter actually helps Clarice, because he can't believe her discourteous. Obviously, it's extreme discourtesy with Miggs. So that's why he agrees to help her and starts her off this trail.
Well, she starts putting the pieces together. And then we cut to, they kind of do the same thing they do with Manhunter.
Yes.
You've got the profiler story, and now we cut to the killer story.
Yes.
Now, the killer story I get makes sense here, but what my complaint with Manhunter was it should have been reversed. Manhunter, you should have the killer story first, because you can't humanize that man after we already been told he slaughtered women and children and a family twice. So you can't humanize him anymore. So they should have had the story of the blind girl and him in the beginning and show sympathy for him as he was cheated on, and then he goes on this rampage. That makes more sense to me than you bring back Graham and so forth. That's the way that film should have been told. This one makes a little more sense. They kind of revert, they kind of stick the same, but it makes more sense because at the end of the day, Buffalo Bill is lunatic. But there's a scene that you feel kind of vulnerable for him. And
what scene is that?
It's so weird because Ted Levine, he's got that fucking deep Darth Vader kind of voice,
Oh, he's a big bloke as well. Yeah.
It's so menacing, and he's had a career built on that. He was great in Heat, and he's always played good guys since then,
I think he was in one of the Hills Have Eyes remakes or something, yeah.
Yeah, he played the father, a good guy.
Yeah.
And he was in Michael Mann's Heat.
Yeah.
And he was in Monk. He played Monk's boss for that whole series. So he's done great. And when you listen to his voice, yeah, if you're like in a dark alley and you hear it, like, oh fuck, you're scared. But when you look at him one-on-one, it's kind of it's a sympathetic tone.
Yeah,
it's not loud and abrasive. It's such a deep tone. That's all it is.
He comes across as if he has been bullied and that he is deeply disturbed, which he obviously is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, go
make a skin dress.
I mean, there's the perfect scene when he takes Catherine. Is that her name, Catherine?
Yes.
And he's playing vulnerable. He's a big guy. And he's got that deep voice, and puts his hand in a cast, and he gets her into the van because his voice can come off as sympathetic, and you feel you kind of feel sorry for him, like he's wounded in the tone, even though
he gets on like a child sometimes as well, especially with the dog. Over the dog, whenever she basically gets the dog Precious down into the hole in the ground, basically with her, and he's like, leave my fucking dog alone, all that sort of thing. So yeah, there is a sort of almost a suggestion there that there are, in the politest possible way, learning difficulties with him. Yeah,
that's definitely you don't even have to know because Ted Levine's so good in it.
Yeah, exactly.
He was probably abused as a child.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on
because there's a lot of whimpering.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Especially when she grabs the dog from him and put the lotion in the basket. The famous line. There's a lot of whimpering there.
Even whenever he's mocking her, crying, where she sees the claw marks in the ditch where the other
you see the nail in the wall,
and he's like mocking her, and he's like grabbing his shirt, pretending he has boobs and stuff, and he's going, you know what I mean? That's like something that a primary school child would do, So there is that heavy suggestion there that he's basically there's something wrong with him mentally. I mean, we know that, but I mean, in terms of like learning difficulties, let's just say.
When they find the dead body of one of the girls, they find the moth in the mouth. The butterfly moth, whatever, in the mouth. It's called Death's Head Hawk Moth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death's Head Hawk Moth. It's a real insect, and it's got that skull-shaped mark that we all know from the Silence of the Lambs. That is legitimate. That does exist. And it's supposed to symbolize transformation. We find out that Buffalo Bill And it was Hannibal who said there's only, at the time, there was 3 places in the States that did sex changes.
Yes.
And he says he most likely got rejected from all of them, probably for mental issues, and because he was unstable.
Yeah.
And that's why he's gone to this course. He's making plus-size women because he's a big guy. He needs a plus-size woman. He wants to transform his whole body into a woman's body by taking skin parts from all of them. Very, very Mannequin, the movie Mannequin that came out. Maniac that came out.
Yeah, it's definitely not
back.
Mannequin. I've seen that one. That's the one with Samantha from Sex and the
Nothing's
City.
going to stop us
Yeah,
now.
and Starship, Nothing's going to stop us now. And yeah, definitely not Mannequin. Yeah, although there are mannequins in this.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Maniac.
Yeah. Yes.
It's about how he scalps the women, he puts it on top of the mannequins and makes them real. But the idea is the same. Done more subtly.
It's essentially he was, as you were saying, he was more than likely rejected for sex change surgery, essentially. But according to Hannibal Lecter says, well, actually, it's clearly starting says first that, well, the transsexual, the transgender community are passive, they're not violent and all this. And Hannibal Lecter says, clever girl, because Buffalo Bill is not a real transsexual. He only believes he is, and his pathology is much more savage, essentially.
Yeah, so he might not even have gone to those places to get a sex change. He just believes he needs one, but instead of, because like Hannibal says, he's not a real transgender or whatever.
Yes.
He's just going to fake it by cutting these women up and making a bodysuit. Instead of and doing the actual procedure, he's going to do it this way, like a
possibly,
costume.
yes. I mean, it's not confirmed either way whether he did actually go to get the surgery or whatever. But yes, that's one possibility.
Yeah, one of the scenes that kind of was supposed to grab you a bit when he tucks his dick,
yes,
between his legs,
by horses
dancing. You gotta give Ted Levine credit, man, because he plays such masculine roles after this.
Yeah,
and
he's great here.
Kudos. I mean, he should have been nominated.
Yeah, I agree. Because he's genuinely believable, and whenever he's doing the whole dancing, it goes back to the sympathetic thing. You know what I mean? This guy is fucked up. Man, I'm not just talking about because he does the dance and all, but you just know by the expressions and the almost, there's a baseness to the character where he's almost caveman-like, with his grunts and his, all this here, and he's not very coherent and all this sort of thing. But so there is that certain sympathy with the character for what he is. He's obviously clearly disturbed.
Yeah, what kind of piggybacks when you said about a little bit of remorse a bit, because there's a scene where Crawford and Clarice's friend, are watching the news broadcast.
Yes.
And the senator, who's Catherine's mom, is on there, and she keeps saying her name, Catherine, and putting her face on the screen, because that was a way of humanizing the situation and putting a name and a face and a personality to the person who he's kidnapped. And that comes after that, around that scene you're talking about, where he feels guilt. The famous scene, put the lotion in the basket, when she is so frightened and she's got to rub the lotion or blah, blah. But he starts almost to cry as he's begging for her life, because he's seen that broadcast and he doesn't want to do what he's doing, but he feels like he's not in control. We talked about this with Manhunter and the Tooth Fairy. This one's doing it right. It's almost like Thomas Harris took what was wrong with Manhunter and put it into this, because I felt nothing for Tooth Fairy because he already slaughtered these people. This one, they do it right because that you see kind of a human side to him. It humanizes him a bit when you can tell there's a section where he does not want to do what he's doing. He pauses too much and he's tearing up. He doesn't like seeing her in pain or scared, and that humanizes him, unlike we got from Manhunter.
I got them both, to be fair. Yeah. And essentially in Manhunter, down to the superb performance by Tom Noonan. But yes, it works here too, for sure. And even the whole, when he's got her in the pit and it rubs a lotion on its skin, he eventually, because, again, it's subtly handled and very well played, where he eventually, he can't take any more of her screaming. He's going, just put the fucking lotion in the basket. So, no, it's very well done.
I like the little moments when Chilton, who's pretty much to me, Hannibal and Buffalo Bill are terrible people. We get that. But Chilton, man, I just want him fucking dead. And he's out for himself. He's out for himself to get publicity. And he makes Hannibal sign this, this fake. He keeps getting these fake deals. And all it is a quick shot of him looking at this contract that Chilton wants him to sign. And all he cuts away to is the pen.
Yeah.
Because that pen is going to be his saving grace.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you catch Roger Corman?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Apparently, Roger, he's the FBI director guy on the phone.
Yeah.
Corman apparently mentored Jonathan Demme, and that's why he's here in this.
See? We talked about Corman quite a bit about doing that.
Yeah. Oh, he did it with over his career. I mean, he lived till he was in his 90s. He mentored many of them.
So he mentions the name Lewis Friend, and when he's meeting the senator.
Yes.
And he's having this conversation with the mother. Things are going, somewhat fine until he says, "Did you breastfeed your daughter? Did your nipples get toughened?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when your little girl is lying dead on a slab, where will you tickle?"
Yeah.
I'm like, way to really sell that you want, you want to go on an island and get some fresh air.
Well, it's basic. No. I mean, Hannibal. See, this is one of the things. See, the deal that this is one of the things that actually bugged me about it. See,
he knew he was never getting a deal.
Yes, period. I know that there. But so what pissed me off was that actually, I know he's desperate to get some form of freedom, even in his mind. But Hannibal Lecter, this off the charts intellect, would never fall for that. He would know exactly what Jack Crawford and Starling were up to. That's always niggled me. But anyway, the stuff with whenever he's insulting to the senator is really because he knows that, well, Chilton's even worse, and there's no way Chilton will uphold his side of the deal. I mean, there's absolutely no chance of it. But did you notice the guy standing beside the senator? That's Paul Crandler from the Justice Division. He comes into it much more in the next film. Well, the next, in the book as well, played by Ray Liotta. And he's an absolutely awful person as a character, obviously. But yes, that's Paul Crandler, the character, but played by a lesser known actor, later to be played by Ray Liotta.
I thought there was too much.
Did you notice also? Sorry, we're coming
Isaac.
We'll talk about it during the escape scene. So somebody else pops up who you might have recognized.
Yeah. Well, Chris Isaac. Yeah, we all saw that.
Oh no, but somebody else.
Oh, okay, but we're watching. So I do think it's too convenient that she catches all these anagrams stuff. It's pretty stupid. Like he mentions Lewis Friend, and she goes, "Oh, wait a minute, I got it. That's an anagram for iron sulfide, which is the chemical name for fool's gold." I was like, "Oh, come on, this is getting okay."
Well, to be fair, you have to be pretty smart to be an FBI profiler. So
I got it right away. Obviously, because that's who I am.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I get so no.
Why can't you say the fucking name? Why can't you just go, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna throw you a bone here"?
Because it's Lecter, he's playing games with them.
I'm about to escape here. I'm about to eat Rambo's nemesis from Rambo 2.
Charles Napier, character actor, he's been in everything.
Charles Napier. I'm about to eat him. So I'll tell you what. I'll give you the name. His name is Gum. Okay, there you go. Why can't he just do that?
He give the right description because he's Lecter. He's about 20 moves ahead of them, and he's playing games for his own amusement because he knows they will all fuck him over, especially Chilton.
Here's another silly part. So she has her final visit with him, right?
Yep.
And here's a man who's been in log pan bars for years, literally a wall of bars, not even bars, all right? Has been tied up in fucking saw masks and fed of the upper mask so he can't speak or eat anybody. He's been 1,200 SWAT men surrounding him when he goes to meet the senator. But you know what? We're just going to leave him here in a cage with 2 cops.
I think that's all they could afford in Memphis whenever they took him there.
No, that is bad. I thought about this. It's like, this movie's fucking smart. This movie's a great movie, don't get me wrong. But this movie's quite smart. And right there, really? And then not only does he finally get out of it because of the pen thing and all, that's fine. We'll give him past there. He crucifies the one man, turns him into a moth, skins the guy's face, throws him on top of an elevator. Nobody knows this is happening. This is easily going to take a couple hours, maybe. But when it does happen, every single cop in the area is in that building.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No, I know what's all. Look, Hannibal Lecter basically it gets in terms of the character being an almost superhero, in terms of this type of thing, it goes.
But it's real. It's not a horror film.
Beyond
it's not a horror film.
Even in the TV series. But if we just rewind back a bit, did you notice whenever Chilton comes, whenever she's talking to Lecter for the last time, Clarice Starling, Chilton comes in with a couple of people. Did you know who he was with? Did you notice who he was with? One of the people?
No.
George Romero.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
one.
George Romero was an extra in that scene, essentially.
Oh, you probably worked with him too, with Jimmy then.
Right?
No,
yeah.
Oh no, yes. Worked with him
sorry, yes, I agree with you. Yeah, they're all obviously all mates, type thing. Yeah.
The lotion in the basket.
Indeed. But no, Lecter's escape, while it is, I agree that it is over the top. Let's just say.
No, I mean it
is exciting.
You talk about how it's not hard, but it is. You get to the point where you have just went from really. You actually, you know what? I'm calling you out, Trevor.
Go ahead, go for it.
You said the one thing you didn't like about Manhunter. We all give these movies passes. We all enjoy them. Don't get me wrong. The one thing you said you didn't like about Manhunter was the ending, because it got Hollywood and he's jumping through the window, blah, blah, blah. I love that scene. But yet you're giving this a pass when this is completely Hollywood.
No, I agree with you, actually. But here, we'll go even more over the top with the next film.
Wow. More over the top, everybody, from Trevor.
No, but I would say that while even Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, he's a pantomime villain, but I enjoy it. I enjoy both for different reasons, and the next one, Hannibal. But in terms of the overall tone of Manhunter, I felt that was a little out of place. But here, Hopkins, I mean, it is over the top, the escape. I mean, make no mistake. But here,
the rest of the film was grounded. That's my point. So was Manhunter. You went from a grounded film to a Hollywood ending, like you said. Don't say this is not a Hollywood ending. Don't even say it.
But Hannibal Lecter is not a grounded character here in The Silence of the Lambs, I would say.
I think he is. I think he's pretty grounded.
He's more grounded than in the later films, but I think generally, I mean, after watching Brian Cox play Hannibal Lecter and then Anthony Hopkins back to back, you can notice where there's more of a hamminess. It's slight and it gets worse as the film series goes on. But there is definitely more of pantomime villain to Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter, compared to, say, Brian Cox's. Mads Mikkelsen is something similar, but he is he's like this smug, sort of super smart asshole, as Hannibal Lecter, but you can't help but like him. By the way, I've always considered Hannibal Lecter not a villain, but an anti-hero.
I don't know. Well, he's a villain. I mean, I can't say.
Well, he isn't.
He's not like, to me, an anti-hero is Magneto.
He becomes more of an anti-hero in.
Yeah, this is where you start making him a fucking hero. That's where the series is fucking stupid. And that's where you take me out, and you should agree with that. But we'll talk about Hannibal later. We'll talk about Hannibal.
With the next one,
with the film,
he's definitely an anti-hero. Go ahead.
What the film does here is something that every major film is tried to pull off, and it's always fun to see, but it doesn't work because the magic trick's been shown, and that's the great misdirection.
Yes.
Now, the great misdirection I've talked about is when Crawford and the SWAT team, we found the house. We're gonna track down Bill. We're on it, and they're going to the house at the same time. Clarice is going to a different house to check on someone who an old witness, and as Crawford and the SWAT team goes into the house, you find out they're in the wrong house, and Crawford says, "Shit, Clarice."
Yeah.
because he knows Clarice is going to a different house, which is probably where the killer is. This has happened so many times since then in Hollywood. The only other film that do it right after this is The Fugitive. Fugitive does it really well too. The misdirect of location where they're going. This whole ending sequence with her and meeting James Gumb and the conversation they're having, and she's slowly putting her gun, because you got to realize, guys, she's a rookie. She hasn't had combat. She hasn't had this face-to-face interaction yet with the villain. So this is, well, she has, but you know what I mean. That could come in harm's way.
She's thrown in at the deep end, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great scene. And then when she's stuck in the light and he's got the
infragreen,
the
night goggles.
Yeah, the night vision goggles, and he has the upper hand. But obviously, she gets him. It's a really great scene, and you really feel for her, and that's how well Jodie Foster and Ted Levine played these parts. You really liked them.
Yeah, the finale as well.
Well, not liked them, but you liked
the whole shootout as well. The whole chasing around the house and stuff. It doesn't go on too long either. It's just the right length. It's very well edited. And did you notice a little touch where you find the previous owner of the house, the woman, in the bath, dead, like basically killed by presumably acid or something by him? So it's House of Horrors, Ed Gein style.
Yeah, he's very sloppy.
Yeah, because he is not the intellect of, say, Hannibal Lecter. You know,
he's almost like
a petulant child.
I'd like to see him in a full skin suit. That would be kind of creepy.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I know it's to be awkward. Come on, you would not want to see that.
Whatever you're into, that's up to you. I mean, whatever. Just don't involve me.
Yeah. So she kills him and she graduates. Blah blah blah. And then you get the famous phone call. I'm going to have an old friend for dinner.
Great ending, and it is cheesy and it is pantomime, but it is a brilliant way to wrap it up.
It is a great ending because of all the people in this film, even Buffalo Bill, you wanted Chilton to get it.
Oh, absolutely. Chilton is the opposite to Lecter in terms of Lecter is very cultured and intellect, whereas Chilton is a Philistine and a narcissist and all sorts. So yeah, you're rooting for Lecter here. And I think this is actually the point where he becomes an anti-hero. At least
we'll talk about that with Hannibal as it continues. They should have left it alone, the franchise. But I'll read up on it. I'm pretty sure Thomas Harris was told to write a sequel now, and he was rushed, and he wasn't happy.
I think you're right there. Yeah. It was.
I'm pretty confident because it shows Hannibal's terrible.
Thomas Harris was basically, as a writer, he hated the actual art of actually sitting down at a typewriter or a computer and actually writing something. So I think he was put under pressure to write the sequel, and it is pure pulp over the topness.
And especially it's sad. It's sad when you come from the last two films we just talked about. It becomes a satire of itself, and it just ruins it. It becomes Friday 13th, Jason in Manhattan. It's exactly what it becomes. It goes from Friday 13th. It goes from Friday 13th Part 4, solid entry in a franchise, all the way to fucking Jason Takes Manhattan. That's what Hannibal is. And
but I still like it.
We'll die. Well, and I'm shocked because you did that with Return to Salem's Lot, that you appreciate writing and you appreciate authors, but yet you're okay if they're forced to sell out and go a completely different direction from what the source material originally did. So I'm shocked that you go that way.
I will explain why on the next podcast.
But we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We will. We'll talk about it later, you big jerk. I apologize for Trevor and his abruptness.
Up there, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That's Trevor just giving up.
Yeah. Okay, multiple Miggs.
Anyways. Oh, wow. I always have my windows closed.
This way. Yeah.
Bad joke. All right. Anyways, give us a shot at Citizen Frame _ podcast and Instagram. Of course, Facebook. A lot of downloads, especially in Cali. Cali still has our back. We're probably being downloaded by producers who want to let's try to sue them for some kind of a derogatory comment.
Oh, here, they'll have their fucking work cut out with us with derogatory comments.
Yeah. They're fucked or we're fucked either way.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next up will be Hannibal. Terrible, terrible Hannibal. And yeah, that's all we got. And get ready, people. That's right. We're getting close to Statham September.
Ooh.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's right. The Baykeeper. Boom.
What about the
No.
Expendables? He was in that series as well. Maybe do one of those.
There's 3 of them. There's only so many we can do, and they're all the same thing.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
I'm doing Transporter because that's the movie that put him on the map as an action star. So I'm like, Transporter, but I'm not doing 2 and 3 because they're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like all of his films, but yeah.
No, they're not. And I'm going to call you out on that, you piece of shit.
Wow.
I talked to Jason Statham, and he was going to come on. And
he was a former swimmer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was going to go for the Olympic, but he didn't make the cut.
Said it to be the Baykeeper instead.
He had hair then, too. It's weird. You can watch it. You can YouTube him.
Right.
But who cares? He became Ninja Man, Ninja ass-kicking man.
Well, it was Guy Ritchie, of course, gave him a lot of breaks as well.
It was Guy Ritchie. Actually, Gene, I believe, guess who was his first film?
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, was it? Or maybe one before that?
Ghost of Mars, John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars.
Right. I didn't know that. Right.
Yeah. Hey, I may be wrong. It might have been Lock, Stock, and then John Carpenter saw him, but he's in Ghost of Mars.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got. We'll chat about Statham in September. We'll be back with Hannibal, and we will chat soon. Have a good one.